Today, in 1947, or June 4th, what began as a routine search flight over the mountains of Washington state became one of the most enduring mysteries in aviation history, when private pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 unidentified objects moving across the sky at extraordinary speed. Arnold, a respected businessman and experienced flyer, was piloting his small Call Air A2 near Mount Rainier on a clear afternoon, scanning the rugged terrain for a missing marine transport plane that had vanished months earlier. The air was calm, visibly stretched for miles, and the Cascades lay sharply defined behind him. Nothing suggested that his flight would be anything other than ordinary, but around 3 p.m., a sudden flash of light caught his eye. It was bright, sharp, and unmistakably reflective, like sunlight off polished metal. Expecting to see another aircraft, he adjusted his position for a better view, only to realize that the source of reflection wasn't a single object at all. Instead, 9 distinct, round, disc-like shapes were moving in a loose formation, traveling from north to south, with a speed and motion unlike anything he had ever witnessed. Arnold later described them as thin, metallic objects that moved with strange skipping motion. He specifically said in quotes, "like a saucer would if you skipped it across the water," a comparison that would later be widely repeated, though not in the way he intended. He estimated their speed at roughly 1,700 miles per hour, far beyond the capability of any known aircraft in 1947. Even the most advanced military jets of the era couldn't approach that velocity, and certainly not while maintaining a coordinated formation over mountain terrain. The objects flew in a diagonal chain, weaving and tilting as they passed between Mount Rainier and Mount Adams, covering nearly 50 miles in under 2 minutes. Arnold watched them carefully, noting their brightness, their shape, and the way they seemed to glide effortlessly, despite their incredible speed. He ruled out reflections, birds, balloons, and conventional aircraft. The objects were solid, distant, and moving behind mountain ridges, clear evidence that they were not illusions or. When Arnold landed in Yakima, he immediately reported what he had seen to the airport staff and later to a local reporter. His account spread quickly, not because he exaggerated it, but because he was considered a credible, level-headed witness with years of flying experience. Within a day, newspapers across the country were printing stories about the sighting, and the phrase "flying saucer" entered the national conversation, even though Arnold himself had never used those exact words. The U.S. military took immediate interest. Investigators interviewed Arnold, reviewed his flight path, and attempted to reconstruct the event. They found no evidence he was lying or mistaken about basic details. His description remained consistent, and he showed no signs of confusion or embellishment. Still, the military could not identify the objects. Some officials suggested experimental aircraft, but no known prototypes matched that speed, shape, or behavior Arnold described. Others proposed atmospheric phenomenon, but Arnold rejected those explanations, pointing out that the objects moved behind peaks and maintained a steady, purposeful trajectory. As news of the sightings spread, additional reports from other witnesses began to surface. Pilots, residents, and even a prospector on the grounds who claimed to have seen similar objects around the same time. These independent accounts strengthened the idea that Arnold had observed something real and unexplained. The sighting marked the beginning of a new era in aerial anomaly reporting, prompting the U.S. government to begin formal studies of unidentified aerial phenomenon. Although these investigations would continue for decades, none ever produced a definitive explanation for what Arnold saw. For the rest of his life, Arnold maintained that the objects were real physical crafts of the unknown region. However, he never claimed they were extraterrestrial, nor did he attempt to dramatize his experience. He simply insisted that he had witnessed something beyond the limits of known aviation technology. His calm, consistent testimony made the sighting one of the most credible and enduring mysteries in flight history. Today, the Kenneth Arnold sighting stands as a defining moment in the study of unexplained aerial observations. A reminder that even in familiar skies, there are moments when the unextraordinary way to the unknown, and when a single observation can challenge assumptions of what is possible. On that clear June afternoon in 1947, Arnold wasn't searching for mysteries or expecting anything unusual. He was simply flying his plane over the mountains in Washington. But what he saw that day would echo across for decades, leaving behind a question that remains unanswered. What exactly were the 9 objects that crossed the clear sky near Mount Rainier, moving with a speed and precision far beyond anything known at the time? You can also find more information about UFOs in the link in the description on my RSS account and on my YouTube account, but only in the description of this video.